Now you've dreamt of exploring the world, ticking off iconic cities like London, Paris, and Barcelona, rushing from one landmark to the other, and barely having enough time to catch your breath. For years, guidebooks have insisted that this whirlwind approach is the best way to see it all. While this type of fast travel is fun and exciting, you're left drained, both physically and mentally, and often need a vacation from your vacation once you return home. Now, I'll admit I've done this myself, squeezing Prague and Budapest in with just a few nights each, feeling the rush and the novelty of being someplace new, but also wishing for just a bit more time. I think it's that longing for deeper connection that's fueling a new trend in travel: slowing down. Instead of city hopping every few days, more and more people are choosing to immerse themselves in a single place for weeks and even months at a time, savoring every moment of the culture, food, and history at a relaxed pace. Now this year, David and I embraced this philosophy, spending entire months on Caribbean islands like Aruba and Barbados. And now we're diving even deeper into Asia with extended stays in Japan and South Korea. So in this video, we're going to share our journey from fast-paced travelers to slow travel enthusiasts, revealing how the shift has enriched our experiences and why now, more than ever, it's easier to make this travel style your own. So if you've ever wondered how it's possible to live in the places you visit, then stick around. We're about to take you on a journey that might just change the way you travel forever. Now, I'm Kendra Lucas.
And I'm David Lucas of Lucas World Travel. And at the beginning of 2020, we did something bold. We sold everything we owned and traveled the world. But here's the thing. We started out fast, probably too fast. We spent 4 nights here, 5 nights there, racing through each destination. And honestly, we were exhausted. We were just living off the excitement of being in a new place. But in reality, we barely had time to catch our breath and rest our aching feet. But after just 6 weeks of this frantic pace, the world shut down. And to be honest, we were almost relieved to get a break. We never imagined that our break would last 18 months. But you know how 2020 and 2021 went. Nothing turned out as planned. When we finally resumed our travels, we thought we'd crack the slow travel code by staying a week in each place. And sure, it was better, less rushed, more time to soak in the sights. We even had those much-needed Netflix days. But after another 18 months, we hit a wall. It turned out that a week in each city is still too fast. We were still burning out. That's when we made a game-changing decision to slow down even more, spending a month in each destination. Sometimes 2 weeks for smaller cities. This shift gave us the breathing room we craved. Days to rest, plenty of time to savor local food, attend meetups, dance socials, and really absorb the culture. It completely transformed our travel experience.
But here's the big question. Is slow travel just a niche lifestyle for digital nomads and adventurous YouTubers like us? I don't think so. I actually believe slow travel is the future of travel. Now, the biggest problem that people have with slow travel is they don't have enough time off work to spend 2 weeks to a month in one destination. And I get it, but you always have the chance to start small. Start with 1 week if that's the only time you have. But over those 7 days, resist the urge to try to fit in 3 cities. Instead, only schedule 1 destination for that time period and really dive deep into it, practicing the language with the locals, trying out all the national dishes, finding a place for live music, and enjoying a sunset or 2 at a park or at a viewpoint. See if you enjoy having this extra time to just be in your destination instead of always trying to do something. And if you enjoy the experience, if you feel relaxed and refreshed with the experience, it's never easier to make time to live a slow travel lifestyle. The pandemic has sparked a revolution in how we think about work-life balance. More and more people are embracing remote work permanently, realizing that if your office is your laptop, it doesn't matter if that laptop is in Boston or Berlin. The possibilities are endless, and it's changing the way we travel forever. Now, in addition to remote work, it's also getting more and more common to take a sabbatical year. because the idea of grinding away for 40 straight years from the ages of 21 and 65 is losing its appeal fast. More people are waking up to the idea of taking a break from the rat race to recharge and rediscover themselves. Now, sabbaticals are very common in academia, where professors take a year off from teaching to research, write, travel, and then simply rest. And even in agriculture, fields are given time to rest to ensure they remain productive for years to come. So, if it's wise to let fields rest and to let professors rest, why isn't a sabbatical year caught on in all walks of life? Wouldn't we all thrive with a year off? Just every 7 to 10 years. I know I could, and that's why I took one. Okay, I took 4, but that's beside the point. Society is constantly evolving and changing. I mean, we used to be hunters and gatherers. Then we used to barter for different foods and services. And it wasn't until the 19th, 20th century that we started working 40 hours a week for 40 years straight. Well, it's a new century, and I'm not sure if this 40-hour, 40-year strategy is working for us. The quantity of people suffering from burnout, anxiety, depression, and all other sorts of mental health issues has increased dramatically more and more every day. So perhaps it's time to try something different.
Imagine taking a year to slow travel, exploring the world at your own pace. It could be the reset you need to recharge physically, mentally, and spiritually, and offer one of the most valuable educations you'll ever receive. And while not all employers offer long leaves of absence or a sabbatical, it's always worth asking if your employer approves it. Imagine the peace of mind you will have knowing that you have a job to return to after your sabbatical year. Alternatively, even if your job can't offer a sabbatical, it's perfectly okay to quit and find a new job when you get back. In fact, 60% of people who frequently change jobs end up with higher salaries. So you might return with not only more clarity and energy, but also with a better job and a fatter paycheck. Also, if you're like us and want to move abroad permanently, but you don't know where you want to live, slow travel is the best way to figure that out. Although articles and videos are helpful, nothing but being in a city for an extended amount of time is going to tell you whether or not living there is right for you. So before you start shipping your furniture, before you apply for a visa, please travel slow first. Spend a month in each city on your list, and which direction to go will be so much easier to decide.
Plus, there are countless ways to kickstart your slow travel journey, each as flexible as the lifestyle itself. So, if you want to take a sabbatical year, for example, you can go slow and steady, saving diligently for 7 to 10 years for that sabbatical year. If you just save $500 a month for 10 years, that's $60,000, which is more than enough to travel comfortably for a year. And that doesn't even include all the interest that you'll earn if you put this money in a high-yield savings account, which can help you reach your travel goals much faster. Another faster option is to start an online business or to work remotely so you can earn money as you go while experiencing the world. Now, the beauty of slow travel is that once you cover your airfare and monthly accommodation expenses, everything else is pretty flexible and up to you to decide how much you want to spend. So imagine this, your monthly housing expenses are just $750 in Bangkok, $850 in Buenos Aires, $1,100 in Paris, or $1,500 in Rome. Once you get your flights and monthly accommodations sorted, you'll have the freedom to tailor your spending to suit your style. But I'd say for 2 people living this lifestyle, it would cost about $3,000 or $1,500 per person if you're trying to do this on a tight budget, and about $4,500 to $5,000 a month, or about $2,000 to $2,500 per person if you want to spend more freely on restaurants and activities. So slow travel is definitely not a cheap lifestyle, but you have to realize that fast travel is even more expensive. For example, want to take a tour of Italy? The average cost of a tour of Italy is $2,200 to $3,700 per person. And that tour only lasts 10 days. For that exact same amount of money or less, you can stay in Rome for a full month. So you can really savor the food, the architecture, and all the artwork. So if you can afford to fast travel, then you can afford to slow travel. It's all about changing your perspective about things. We have definitely spent a lot more on tours and on fast travel when we were changing cities every week because of the extra expense of travel expenses. It's quite a bit more cost effective to slow travel as opposed to fast travel. And it's allowed us to explore more expensive Caribbean islands because it's way more affordable to stay a month than to make a quick trip there and back.
Slow travel isn't just a more affordable way to explore the world, it's also a more sustainable one. By staying longer in a single region, you drastically reduce the need for multiple transatlantic or transpacific flights each year, which are major contributors to carbon emissions. By covering smaller distances and relying on your local public transportation, your environmental impact is lower than if you're trying to cover a lot of ground in 7 to 10 short days. Sure, that initial flight might be a hefty hit in terms of carbon emissions, but by settling in one place for months at a time, you're making a conscious choice that's both cost-effective and more eco-friendly. And while travel will never be completely eco-friendly, it doesn't hurt to minimize your footprint while maximizing your experience. Slow travel is more sustainable on your body. When you travel fast, the chances of aching feet, blisters, and the aching back from moving heavy luggage every few days is higher. Our bodies are much happier and more pain-free since we started to travel slower.
And although you mostly see solo digital nomads and couples slow traveling, I believe it's a lifestyle that families can embrace as well. I'm incredibly inspired by families out there living full-time travel lifestyles. One of my favorites is Life with Betta, and she's a single mom traveling the world with her 2 boys. Watching how they make it work, currently she's working remotely while her boys do virtual schooling. And that fills me with so much admiration. They found the perfect way to balance work, education, and adventure. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Another family I love watching is the Bucket List family. They've turned travel into a living classroom, teaching their kids invaluable life lessons, lessons of courage and curiosity that even inspire me. So if you've ever thought that slow travel is impossible with a family, think again. It's not only possible, but it can be an incredibly rewarding experience. While you work remotely, your kids can study online, and together you can explore new places, learn new languages, history, and the geography of each new destination, all while making memories as a family every step of the way. Slow travel is a reality that many families around the world are already living, so why not yours?
Another reason why slow travel is rapidly gaining popularity is because technology has made this lifestyle easier and more affordable than ever before. 30 years ago, travel was a daunting experience, filled with unknowns. Booking accommodations was a hassle. You had to be there in person to secure a monthly rental. Getting cash, navigating the foreign city, or even communicating in another language were all significant challenges. Today, all of that has changed. Now you can find thousands of monthly rentals with just a few clicks on various platforms. Free travel guides and maps make navigating a breeze, and translation apps let you communicate in seconds. No years of language study required. The barriers that once made long-term travel daunting have all but disappeared. But beyond the convenience, slow travel gives you something precious: time. Have you ever visited a museum only to feel so drained afterward that all you wanted was a nap? But instead, you pushed yourself to check off more items on your itinerary. Imagine being in a city for 30 days. You can leisurely explore one attraction each day, enjoy a relaxed lunch, and still have time of an afternoon nap. There's nothing better than discovering the world while well rested.
Now, I'm not saying mass tourism doesn't have its place. Quick tours, day trips, and cruises will always be a part of the travel landscape. And I recognize that it's impractical to slow travel for every trip. But what excites me about how slow travel is gaining traction is that more and more fellow travelers on YouTube are singing its praises. And we couldn't agree more. Most of the people I follow are retirees, but I don't think slow travel should be reserved for just when you retire. As we said, taking a sabbatical now and satisfying that travel itch in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s is important to do. In a time where life often feels rushed and overwhelming, choosing to slow down can be one of the most rewarding decisions you'll ever make. So if you've ever dreamed of traveling deeper, connecting more authentically with the places you visit, or simply finding a way to balance work and exploration, I encourage you to consider slow travel. It's a way of life that's more accessible than ever because the world is out there waiting to be discovered, one slow, beautiful moment at a time. All right, world travelers, if you want to catch our next adventure and see even more of what it's like to travel a little slower, then please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for even more travel inspiration from all around the world. Until next time, check out our cost of living video playlist to see how much traveling around the world costs. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sharing with all your travel pals. And best of luck planning your own slow travel journey.